Everybody, this video is going to highlight why it's not a good idea to buy into the go hard, go home, workout crazy, workout insane, just do HIIT Tabata cycle classes, working out way too aggressive all the time. The things that most trainers, most online HIIT coaches, most things in muscle in fitness are telling you because it looks sexy. But it is not actually smart for women in the long run. Even men, most men, for example. But I'm focusing on women's weight loss. Because when a woman starts to look to lose weight, she's gonna ask a trainer, she's gonna read a magazine, she's gonna look at Line at the hottest influencer, and she's gonna go, I need to do whatever they're doing. No, you don't need to do what they're doing. And in fact, you probably shouldn't do what they're doing. Well, why is that? Why all of a sudden has it become popular for weight loss for to only talk about HIIT or aggressive anaerobic programming? Well, let me explain a little bit why that is. In the last decade, we've come to understand how energy is created in the muscle. And there is like ATPC, which is a chemical reaction that happens in burst training. So think burst, sprints, quick power lift. There's anaerobic behavior that doesn't use oxygen but uses a lot of glucose, so it burns up calories and glucose in the body. Then you have aerobic. That's using oxygen. This is when the body slows down. This process doesn't burn a lot of calories right away. Anaerobic does burn a lot of calories right away. So you can show in how you can burn this many calories. And when you're thinking only calories in, calories out, which is the predominant conversation today, this looks really sexy. Clients or people want results really, really fast, and they don't care how they're gonna get them. So they get tossed right in off the couch into these crazy, insane workouts. Or there's people who are lifers that have been at this for a while, and they get stuck in a pattern of only doing HIIT and anaerobic activities that are very aggressive all the time. This is a mistake, okay? People would argue, well, you don't burn many calories in aerobic behavior. And that's true. Walking, hiking, swimming, you don't burn a lot of calories right away. But there's where the wisdom is. Because if you dig deeper into these kind of activities, you'll find that the recovery time for anaerobic activities is actually pretty long. 36, 48 hours, okay? For quick burst, you recover relatively quickly, and it's very low recovery time or short recovery time for anaerobic activities. But here's the caveat. Here's the thing that everyone needs to know and understand. You can burn the most calories and get the greatest caloric deficit with anaerobic activity and HIIT strategies, these workout strategies. The problem is they're very inefficient at using fat. So if I burn all these calories, but only 35% of it came from fat, if all I'm doing is this all the time and I'm not focusing on my diet and being active in my normal life, I'm burning at a very inefficient rate, okay? I'm crashing my glycogen stores. I'm not focusing on diet. I'm not focusing on some of these other things that we're gonna discuss. I'm going in, I'm pushing myself to the max, and I'm getting out, and I'm eating like crap on the weekends, and maybe I'm not even eating very well during the week. The problem is this over time causes women a lot of problems. We're seeing this is like women's athletics. High school girls, college athletes, they're going and crashing themselves, they're eating like garbage, they're having body image issues, so they're just eating in caloric deficit. It's the same. Well, guess what? When they're starting that young, a lot of them as they get older get very thick. A lot of them get PCOS, a lot of them get real sick, all right? And we started noticing this trend, and I started noticing over the last 10, 12 years how women in general in fitness are starting to get thicker and thicker and thicker. But yet we have more science than ever that puts us in greater caloric deficits. So why is that? Well, a lot of people would tell you it's just because they're eating way more calories than they realize. A lot of people would tell you that they're lying about what they're eating. A lot of people will say, oh, it's leptin resistance and hunger hormone, and people just can't control themselves, and they're not evaluating. I don't believe that's true. We watch and document when people eat a lot. And what we find is actually happening is the exact opposite. People are under eating way too much. They're overeating on the weekends, but they're under eating a lot during the week. And this is causing a major problem, particularly in women. This can stall men's weight loss too. But what you need to understand is the research on anaerobic is very true. It's great stuff. We use anaerobic, we use HIIT, okay? We use anaerobic training, but we do it cyclically. We don't leave people in it way too long, and we don't starve people while we're doing it. And we value what you can actually burn in a day's time with anaerobic activity all day, every day, versus just tapping into crazy, insane workouts, trying to burn as much deficit as we can in one day. That's a mistake. Over time, that's a mistake. In short-term research, in a vacuum, yes, this looks great. You look on research, wow, 30 minutes, I can go to 1,000 calorie caloric deficit. Everybody wants to talk about caloric deficits. That's what I need to do. This makes sense. Yes, that's true, and it can work. But we have to think about the environment that this person's being put in. If you take healthy males or fitness women or athletes, yes, that research is for them. Not your lifestyle client at home. That's not for them. And that's 85% of the people that we're talking about. You have to think about how that research applies to the environment of the average person reading it. And the environment of the average woman is not the athlete males that are trying to sell this stuff to you. It's a male-dominant environment, and males are not considering the differences in a woman's body from a man's body. They're completely different, and they respond to stress over time completely different. Let me go into some of it. So, and this could be for men too. It does cause some of these problems. Lack of sleep. The average person is only sleeping 6 hours. You can do heart rate studies. They have technology called Whoop, W-H-O-O-P, where you can wear a band, and that band will show you if you've fully recovered. Most people have not fully recovered before they go crashing into their body again and crashing into their body again, and they're not eating enough to feed that kind of work. So their bodies are always in a state of breakdown. Remember what I said. If your body's always in a state of breakdown and it cannot heal, it eats what it can't heal. So therefore, if you're in anaerobic activity all the time, you're only burning 35% fat, roughly. You can get a little higher. I'm just going in generals here. So all that extra torn tissue that you can't heal because you're in breakdown all the time, you're going to start eating it. You're going to deplete your glycogen stores, and once you do, your body needs energy fast. It's already stressed out. Social media, just today's modern environment of human living is at stress is all-time high. And the problem with that is your cortisol is already high. The higher your cortisol goes, the less efficient your metabolism is, period, if you're stressed out all the time. If you weren't, if you were a very relaxed, chill person, slept a lot of most of the time, ate all the food you needed to do, and then went in and crashed your system, that would be perfect. But that's not the average person. The average person is living a crazy, stressed out life. They're not sleeping enough, and then they go crash into their bodies and do anaerobic behavior. When you do that, you create shifts in people's hormones. Stress on stress on stress crashes hormones. Males' testosterone plummets. Women's estrogen and testosterone plummet, either leading to androgen dominance or estrogen dominance in women, okay? So there are genetic variations. There are people, some people in the world that can deal with stress better. There's some people when there's too much physical stress and emotional stress all day long, it kicks on gene variants that can make them sick or makes their bodies very inefficient. MTHFR, MTRR, COMT. These are genes that we track here, nutrition dynamic, and that's a very real thing for women. Women need to start considering that. Men can have this too, but it doesn't affect them as much. Nutrient deficiency. Over 85% of people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables or have all the micronutrients they need to sustain crazy training. They don't. So their bodies get hurt from that. It starts causing oxidative stress. When you crack an O2 molecule open, oxygen molecule open, it's very oxidative to the body. So you have to have a lot of antioxidants and a lot of things like glutathione that are made from a lot of different vitamins and nutrients that your body produces or makes